Welcome to Inside Racing. Successful jockeys who set their sights on a training career when their riding days are over are in the minority. Accustomed to a good lifestyle and as many hours as they like on the golf course, they're not wildly excited about the prospect of a 7-day week, endless communication with owners and constant concern for every horse under their control. One former top jockey who never wanted to do anything else but train is Pat Highland, who in just 10 years has emerged as one of Melbourne's best trainers. He came off a riding career that can best be described as distinguished. An amazing 2,385 winners, Group 1 successes abounding, and the honour to ride turf legends like Vane. Pat and his charming wife Marie are at home in their rambling country homestead near Cranbourne in Victoria, and with an ounce of luck, they might have the coffee pot on. Let's go and meet the Highlands. Oh, gee, this would be a good floor for tap dancing. And here are the Highlands. G'day, Pat.
Hello, Tappy.
How are you, mate? Good, son. Lovely to see you.
Great to see you.
Marie?
Hello, John.
How are you?
Fine, thanks.
Take your seat, John.
Well, I've been wanting to catch up with you two for a long, long time.
That's good. You've made it.
83 beautiful acres. The
Yes.
property's called Pyingerra. What does that mean, Pat?
Well, Pyingerra is... we lived in Pyingerra Crescent at Cheltenham for 21 years, and we had a lot of fun there, and most of our children were brought up there. And when we moved to here, Marie said we'd bring the name with us. And it's a row of pines, or what do they call it?
Meeting place.
Meeting place of the pines. It's
Yeah.
an Aboriginal name.
I presume you met Pat at the races.
Yeah, I did. Well, not so much at the races, at a fundraising for a jockey that had a fall.
Right. Well, tell me about that night. What was his pitch? Did he come on strongly or not?
Well, actually, I was with my brother, and Pat had another girl with him, and said to my brother, "Who's the girl?" And Lanny said, "Oh, that's just my sister." He said, "Well, let's swap."
Oh, what an unprincipled thing to do. What about the young lady you brought to the function?
She was a good sport.
Gosh. Pat, you gave away a wonderfully successful career as a jockey to become a trainer in a pretty tough arena here in Melbourne. Must have been a little intimidating.
Yes, I suppose it was, John, but I had a long experience with, I was always going to be a horse trainer. I must say that when I decided to do it, it did become as a bit of a culture shock, because Lloyd Williams, I was going to have 12 months getting this place ready, and Lloyd Williams' secretary rang me up and she said, "Now there's 15 horses, the spelling property on the Mornington Peninsula. Lloyd would like you to go and have a look at them. And he'd like you to put in for your trainer's licence." I said, "Oh, gee, Kathy, I hadn't intended to do it quite that quick." And anyway, it sort of snowballed from there.
You mentioned the name Jim Maloney, a key figure in the life of Pat Highland. He had enormous influence on your life generally, and in particular your life as a jockey.
Yes, Jim Maloney has shaped my life, and even from the point of view, I lived with the Maloneys, and at the time as a young apprentice, I thought he was a pretty tough boss. Was another apprentice, Ray Setchis, was there at the same time, and he used to get a Sunday off every fortnight, and after quite a few months, I thought, this is a bit strange. I don't get one of these days off. And I said to Jim, "When do I get a day off?" And he said, "Oh, it's not much good you having a day off, son. Your parents live at Port Fairy. You've got nothing to do. You might as well stay here and work." But that was the style of the times. And but Jim spent many hours talking to me, and I suppose I spent many hours listening. And this sort of thing went on. And Jim and Pauline they're like mother and father to us. And Jim and I had wonderful success together with the horses. I mean, Jim went through some horror patches leading up to the coming of Vane, I suppose. I think the season before Vane came along, Jim had a horrid year. I was #1 rider for Noel Kelly at that time. But even though I was #1 rider for Noel Kelly, Jim always had first call on me. If Jim wanted me, I rode his horses. And, a lot of people would say that, it cost me a lot of winners, and certainly it probably did. But at the end of the day, what you miss one way, you pick up the next.
Yeah. Capsulise for me the way you felt about Vane as a racehorse, as an animal, as a character.
Well, Vane was a horse that...
Did you love him?
Oh, yeah, well, when he first...
Was he the kind of horse you could love? Was he affectionate?
Yes, and yet he was a horse he was a very, very knowledgeable horse. He was a horse, he kicked a strapper out of the box one day, but we went in to feed him, but we don't really know the circumstances of why that happened.
Yeah.
All we knew, we saw the strapper coming out with a feed bucket following him. But he was a horse because he was by Wilkes, out of elated. He was the best bred horse we'd ever had in the stable, and I used to ride him to the track, and Jim used to ride another one. We used to ride to the track. It took us 20 minutes to walk to the track from where we were. And one day we were coming home from the track, and we were walking along the side of the road, and a car went past us going much too quick and splashed water over the top. And the horse made 2 bounds, and he made 1 bound, and he was going to go straight through a barbed wire fence that was halfway down. He put 2 legs over it and stopped. Mm. And, we were able to just pick his legs up and put them back over the fence, and he stood there as though he knew that he couldn't go any further. Yeah. There was going to be trouble.
Vane won 12 races. You rode him in all of them. And a feature of those wins were some of his incredible winning margins. What was his best performance? The Craven A Stakes? That was a 12 lengths demolition job.
I suppose it was his best performance. I sometimes look at it and say that maybe that the quality of that field wasn't that good, but, in hindsight, there was a couple of pretty good horses in the race. It was a fairly small field. I thought his most exploding, you can't deny that the Craven A Stakes was sensational. He could have run an absolute record if he was wanted to. But I thought his Champagne Stakes win was absolutely unbelievable.
Right, he'd been beaten in the Sires. Yes. When we know now that he simply wasn't fit.
He wasn't fit enough in the Sires. After the Golden Slipper, he had a week just jogging about.
He backed off too much.
Yeah, and he went to Randwick on the Tuesday morning, and they closed all the grass tracks, and he couldn't gallop. On the Thursday morning, I went up and rode him, and the only track that was open was the little inside grass. As Jim said, well, if we get beaten because we're not fit enough, we can't do anything about that, but we're not going to ruin the horse. He just blew out at the end of the Sires, absolutely blew out. In the last 50 metres, he felt like jelly. Mm. But Bo Babylon beat him, I think, 3/4 of a length. And the week after, in the Champagne,
which was then 6 furlongs, we've got to remember.
Yeah. He beat Bo Babylon. Bo Babylon ran 3rd, and I think he beat him 12.5 lengths.
Exactly.
But when you say the Craven A, I read an article just recently in the Herald Sun in Melbourne that John Alexander wrote the article about these people picking out good horses, and he said that Vane is a horse that never seems to get the accolades that his performances
warranted. Mm.
And when you look at Vane carried 5 pound overweight for age when he won the Craven A Stakes. He carried 10 pound overweight freights when he won the George Adams, and I don't think any horses have been able to do it, what he did, and carry that sort of weight. You know, they don't ask horses to carry that sort of weight now anyway. But yeah, he was something else.
Well, Pat, there's little doubt that Craftsman was the horse to really kickstart your career. You won a stack of races on him, a Derby, 2 Australian Cups, goodness knows what else. Let's take a break on Inside Racing, then we'll come back and reminisce about one of your all-time favourites, Craftsman. Back after this important break on Inside Racing, and we're at the home of Pat and Marie Hyland at Crandon.
In the straight, under the whip, Special Girl not making much impression. They're followed by Del Riado and Gaelic Spirit finishing on well, but the Victorian Charles has got a shot of it. Safely holding Special Girl and Del Riado and Peter's Empire flashing home along the rail, but Bain is all too good, and Bain in the run of the judge, a big winner. Second, Peter's Empire, third, Gaelic Spirit, then Del Riado.
Welcome back to Inside Racing. I'm talking with Pat Highland about the horse that kicked him off as a jockey, Craftsman. You were just out of your time. No young rider could have wished for a better start than that. He got you on the road, didn't he?
Yes, I'd have to say that, Craftsman came along right when you needed a good horse. Craftsman was a horse that Andy White trained him. He'd had a run at Pakenham in the early, through the winter, and then he had a run at Werribee, and I remember Dennis McGregor riding him at Werribee, and he ran 4th to a mare called Downswept, and he was climbing all over her back going to the line, and I thought to myself, gee, I'd love to ride that horse. And I was walking exercise this afternoon. As I say, I'd just finished my time, and Andy White drove past, and he said, I think I'd only had a couple of rides for Andy in the previous, and he said, you've got to ride in such and such a maiden at Werribee. And I said, I think there were 6.5 furlong maidens in those days. And I said, I've got to ride one of Jim's. And he said, well, it'll be divided. And he said, I'll wait and see. So the race was divided and they drew different divisions. And Craftsman went there and bolted in, and he went on from there to Moonee Valley and Caulfield and Flemington, and he ran in the Caulfield Cup that year. He only had 7-3. I think he may have started favourite as a 3-year-old in the Caulfield Cup. And I had won, I don't know whether it was 7 or 8 races on, I think it was 7 races on him. Now coming up to there, I'd won 6 races on him. He ran in the Caulfield Cup, Frank Treen rode him, and he was a little disappointing. And then he won the Derby. And then Andy put him away and didn't run him in the autumn. And I had a huge autumn carnival at Flemington, and which, followed up after winning the Derby. I've 64, 63 or 64. And I had a huge autumn carnival. I think I won 8 races at Flemington on the over the carnival. I went to Bendigo straight after and broke my collarbone on the Wednesday after. And I came back a month to the day at Moonee Valley and had 2 rides, and had a horse called Sagapa, crossed its legs and fell in front of a field. I got very badly smashed up there. And I came back after 3 months to the day, and Andy White said, well, I'll have Craftsman ready for you to have your first ride back on. And, all the falls that I had, there was always somebody that helped me back with a good ride straight after. And Craftsman ran in the Cranbrook Plate at Caulfield, and Andy said, he's probably got no hope in this, but just let him toddle out the back, don't worry about it, just let him coast along, and you have a nice ride round, and doesn't matter where he runs, don't worry about it. And he was last coming to the turn. I pulled him to the outside and he went home and won at 33-1. And he went on then, I think he won the Moondart Plate after that and the JJ Liston Stakes. And then he got, which meant that I'd won 10 races in a row on him without being beaten. But he came back, he got hurt then in the weight phrase, the Memsies, and he went out for the spring and came back in the autumn and won the Australian Cup. Marie always remembers him because when we went on our honeymoon, we went to Hayman Island, we got off the plane in Brisbane, and Andy picked us up at the airport and took us to round to the stable to have a look at Craftsman. And he was up there for the winter carnival. We went to Hayman Island and we were there for a couple of days and we didn't like that much and I wanted to get back to Brisbane to work the horse and we came back and spent our honeymoon looking after Craftsman. Didn't we, dear?
Did you feel rejected?
A little.
Yeah.
But
you could see this incredible affection that he had for the horse and you understood.
Yes, I did. I think from then on I realised how important the horses were and, you know, what sort of adjustments we'd need to make.
It sounds to me as though you've had a nice loose rein for most of your married life.
well, I don't know about that, John. Well, I suppose, you know, we've had a, you know, I don't suppose you could write a book about how happy you could be for so long. And, you know, I think since I've given up riding, we've had a, you know, well, if I go to the races now and Marie's not with me, people want to know why.
Yeah.
And
you're the Fred and Ginger of Victorian racing.
It just seems to be that, you know, we go everywhere together, we do everything together. And
Hey, Marie, let's capsulise life with Highland. Or Old Irish, as the Chief Steward used to call it.
Well...
Can you put it in a nutshell?
Interesting. When he was riding, it wasn't so much fun.
Because he was no natural lightweight, was
No.
he? Spent plenty of time in the sauna.
That's right. And we had a sauna in the home.
Yeah.
And Saturday mornings, I used to get the kids up early and fed and dressed and out to play. Keep out of Dad's way.
Yeah.
Because he was what
Not a good waster.
What you'd call a hothead. And, you know, it was... I didn't go to the races in those days because it wasn't... I didn't find it relaxing at all. By the time you got Pat out and off to the races, you could sit down and relax and listen.
Yeah.
And, but I have to say the training for me is a much nicer lifestyle. And, you know, I go to every meeting and thoroughly enjoy it now.
Pat, you've had a wonderful 10 years as a trainer. Plenty of winners, plenty of big race wins.
yes,
But there is one supreme event, the 1995 Victorian Oaks, won
Yes.
by a filly related to Vane,
yes,
and that's the important keynote.
yes.
That was a day of days for you.
Yes, that was the day that, you know, I must say we'd never forget that sort of a day. It was a marvellous day and it was a marvellous occasion. We went back to the casino after that, and Darren and Kim, Darren Beedman and Kim, and, you know, you know, we've been awfully lucky in probably, well, even since we've been training, but, you know, life's been great to us. And see, since we've been training in the 10 years, we've trained 13 black type winners. And apart from Salius, who was by far the best horse that we've had, and you mentioned the Oaks. Well, you know, Oaks Day was just one of those sensational sort of days that you dream of.
The kids have fetched an old horse out of the paddock up there. They've put him in a box and brushed him over and picked the Bathurst burrs out of his tail to get him ready for the TV camera. He's 22 years old. He holds a special place in your heart fact, he puts you in the history books. His name is What a Nuisance. He won the 1985 Melbourne Cup, and we're going to give him a pat after this break on Inside Racing. Great setup, Pat. The old breezeway, as they call them.
Yeah.
Lovely and cool.
Beautiful. Really, really good. Really good. They work very well.
How many in work, mate?
We're working 50 at the moment.
You like to keep it around there?
Oh yeah, we never have more than that. It's always about 45 to 50.
How many staff?
Oh, it's 20 all told. A few casuals and a lot of permanents.
Yep. Good team?
Yeah, we've got a good team at the moment. Yeah, they're a bit hard to get a team together.
Yeah.
But, we've had a team of good girls and boys.
Yeah.
But mostly girls.
Pat, it's a funny thing. This place is 83 acres.
Yes.
And yet your dog sits on my foot.
Yeah, just shows you. Soda likes to be in all the films.
You wouldn't believe that. Soda.
Yeah, Soda.
Good on you, Soda. 83 acres and you sit on me foot.
We inherited Soda from Simon Marshall's mother and father.
I thought you...
So there you go.
Mate,
another relation to Simon Marshall.
I thought there might be. Now, Pat, how's the old fella? Here he is.
Yeah, terrific.
22 years old and full of beans. He's been here the whole time, Pat, since he retired.
Yeah, he's retired. He's been, and he was at our other farm, and then he came here when we moved to here. So he's. So I promised Lloyd that I'd look after him.
Yep.
He retired him after he won the Melbourne Cup, and said that was it. So now the only work he does now is gets ready for the parade for.
Cup Eve.
Cup Eve, yeah.
Well, every winning Melbourne Cup jockey can remember every step of the race, every stride the horse took. Take me through your Melbourne Cup. Where were you in the run?
Yes, well, I think that Lloyd and I had sat down and planned a race that we were going to get back out of the race and sit back. We had great... learnt off Bart Cummings. Bart Cummings had told me many years previous that the only way to win Melbourne Cups, you sat them back quietly and, had your last go at them and that sort of thing. And he said that was the best way to win them. And with this horse, because he didn't pull, we sat him back. He was back in the last 4 or 5 horses. And coming past Chiquita Lodge, I had Tripsicum, who was racing not far away from me, and the favourite, the Wayne Trelaw Road, one of the favourites, Wayne Trelaw Road, Tristark, I think it was, and they all started to move. And as they moved, our plan was to, I think Jimmy Cassidy won the Derby on the Saturday, and
he rode a horse called Late Show in that Melbourne Cup.
Yes, but I think did he win the Derby on Handy Proverb or something on the...
He may well have,
I'm not quite sure. I think he won the Derby on the Saturday, and the idea that we had was that once the field starts to pack up, everybody starts to go, and we were going to sit there until these horses started to move. And when these horses in front of me started to move, the horses started to peel off the fence, and I just kept chuffing up along the fence, turned for home following the leaders, which was
dream run.
Absolutely amazing. And Ronnie Quinton rode a horse,
Pyingerra
in the race, and he was there, and I think I just had to edge Ronnie out of the road a little bit as we got round the corner. And
he wouldn't have minded.
No, he was the first to congratulate me when we pulled up. He was, because he's a great little bloke, Ronnie.
My word.
But it was a...
So you hit the line, but I bet you thought that grey mare would never go away.
Yes, that's right. And I must say, I pulled up and the clerk of the course trotted up to me, and I said to him, did I win, Pato? Because even though I thought I won, but...
Yeah, there wasn't much in it.
There was only a head in it. And, but I think it was a maiden plate. I was sure I won it, but, Melbourne Cup's there.
Yeah.
But,
now, Pat, I ask every jockey who's won the Cup the same question. When you hit the line and those few strides past the post, must be indescribable, the feeling.
Yes, it's something that, I don't think it'll happen again. Well, it'll never happen to me again. I'll never ride one in it again. No. But, yes, it's something that really, and I think, John, probably with this long-term thing that you've had an association with the horse for a long, long time, you know, it gives you such an enormous thrill. It's something you really can't describe.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think it's something you can put into words.
No. The special guests of honour on the day were Prince Charles and
Lady Diana.
the tragic Princess Diana. And I guess that, for you, has made the memory even fonder.
Tremendous, yes. Yeah, it was, you know, it was just one of those special days. And apart from anything else, I mean, for Diana to be at the races and to meet her and to be able to chat with her, you know, something you never forget.
The fact that you're the father of 5 boys is well documented. We've got Paul, we've got Chris, Matthew, Samuel,
Patrick.
But there is one key member of the family that we haven't yet mentioned, and
Joanne.
she'll kill us if we don't. We've got to give her a good rap.
Well,
she's a darling, your one and only daughter.
Yeah, she's a great girl. She's a great girl, Joanne, and being the only girl, of course, she's spoilt rotten, but she can hold her own against them all.
Yeah.
But she always believes she gets missed out of everything because she says, well, it's always Pat and his boys.
Well, if I'm going to stand near a horse, I might as well make it a Group 1 winner. This is French Clock, trained by Pat Highland to win this year's Goodwood Handicap in Adelaide. Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little visit to Pyingerra Park and our chat with the Highlands. You know, Pat Highland's long and successful career as a jockey was attributable to 2 major factors, talent and integrity. And I'm sure the same 2 factors will ensure his continued success in the horse training field. Look forward to your company again next week on Inside Racing when we introduce another famous face. Until then, many winners.